How are you getting on? In today's video, I'm going to be milking the cows. So first things first, we gotta get geared up. Now first task is we have to set up the parlour. So first we gotta wet down the platform, so if everything's wet then any dirt is less likely to stick and makes it easier to clean at the end. Also on either side we have two receiver jars, so the milk will flow, it will flow from the cluster through the milk tube and come in through their meter which reads the milk into the milk line, and the milk will flow into these receiver jars where it flows down into pumps and is pumped out of the milking parlour over to the tank. Sorry, it's a bit, there's lots of lime and stuff, we have hard water here. So I just got to make sure that these are set up. They're set up differently for wash to make sure everything's cleaned properly. So now I have it set up for milking. Kind of wet down the parlour as I'm going along and mix with other things rather than do one step at a time, because it's just a bit quicker. We have the wash lines connected up to the platform, so we must disconnect these now so it can start spinning around. The rotary won't spin until these are hooked up here, and there are two sensors, so the wash lines have to be put on the sensors for the platform to spin. So you can see now the light is on, which means it has detected the wash line. So now the platform is free to move. We've got these caps in to cup the end because otherwise the vacuum air would go in there. We don't want that. And we have another receiver jar at this side, so you have to change that over as well. Normally we have to make sure that before we come in, we got to make sure that any water has drained out of the system, so you're not pushing water into the tank. So we have two taps at the end of our filters, and we usually open the pipe here at the end. So this pipe here, which is now connected to the bulk tank, would be connected to this line for washing. So we gotta make sure all the water's gone out. Currently there's a small leak here on the seal, so the tank is dribbling out milk. So we've connected this pipe back up after the wash is done, because there's a non-return valve here and it will stop it from leaking milk. So all that water is out already, so just make sure our taps are closed, and now we can turn on the machine. So she's flicked into milking mode there now. It's just 3 o'clock. We normally start milking at 3, so I'm a bit behind. So this runs on vacuum, so it's building up the vacuum now, and you'll hear the vacuum pumps. Maybe you can't hear it on camera now, but the vacuum pumps are running at full blast to build up the vacuum, and when vacuum is built up there now, the vacuum drops. So at the moment she's in wash mode, so if the lines were connected up there and there was water in the tank, it would be sucking it through and running it through the system. I just hold down this button on the unit and all the units have switched into milking mode. It's open into the tank and the tank is cooling. So she's currently at 3.9 degrees Celsius. And I'll wait until we have cows on the platform, and then I will be turning on the ice bank. This makes ice during the night and runs it through the plate cooler upstairs to cool the milk before going into the tank, so that the tank itself has less work to do, because you want to cool the milk down as quickly as possible so that bacteria don't grow. We can keep the milk really good quality. Next thing to do is take all the cups out of the jetters and fold the jetters away into the unit so that they don't get dirty during milking. So I've got this far up as far as the dairy with jetters. I'll usually turn on the plate cooler there now so it'll be getting cool when milk starts flowing through. So the pump up there will start pulling the ice cold water up to the plate cooler to help cool the milk. To get around near cups on, cows are just arriving in there now. I can turn on the platform and I'll press go. And she'll start moving there. She'll only be moving slowly for the first little bit, and then after it gets past position number 10, it'll let me speed it up to the place I want. I don't really know why it only goes slowly at the start. If you know, leave it in the comment below, because I don't know, and anybody I've asked doesn't know. But I'll strip off the rest of these units, and once they're all off, we'll be ready to milk. And I got a basin of warm, clean water here. Just keep my hands clean while we're milking. I can dip them in. And I'm just waiting for it to get to position 10 so I can speed it up. Screen that will show me the rotary parlour. At the moment she thinks that there's a cow here, but there's not. So we only got this screen up and running the other day. It's been 2 years we've been in this parlour, but I only got it running yesterday. So it just shows what's going on in the parlour, but the main advantage to it is I can click on the cow and then I can click a button up here so that she'll be drafted through the automatic drafting system. Should tell me how many cows are milking and everything up here as well. So this is my first time milking with the screen, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. As you can see, the clusters travel underneath the bridge, and then when they get over to cups on, they'll lift up to me here like this, and they drop down at the other side. The whole process at the moment, from once I walk into the shed, get ready, get it all set up, wet down, usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes, or sorry, 10 to 15 minutes. So in the afternoon we like to milk at 3 o'clock, so I try to come down around 2:45 or 2:45 and start getting going. Of course I'm a little bit slower today because I'm videoing. At the moment I have it set to 60, which means it's running about 6.5 minutes per rotation. So I'm going to start off at that. I'll speed it up if I'm comfortable, or I can slow it down. Speed will give me about 6.5 seconds per cow to put the clusters on. Because the cows are out grazing, we don't need to do any teat prep because their teats are going to be clean enough. So I've just done one full rotation there at the moment. So I'm going to have a quick walk around, make sure everything's going okay, make sure the milk is going into the tank alright. When some of these will be flashing when it takes it off, and it thinks that she's not finished. So she only has just over 5 litres, and NF pops up means not finished. Because it's the end of the lactation, there's a lot of cows who don't have a lot of milk, a lot of younger cows especially. So this one here actually just must have kicked it off. This one here must have kicked it off, or it slipped off. So it pulled up NF, so she would come back to me. But at this time of year, you can see we have a few heifers. They're nearly going to be dry. We'll be drying them off there soon, so they don't have a lot of milk. That's all good in there, everything's working okay. Now that I've nearly one rotation done, I'm going to turn on the water taps to keep the platform clean and the cups clean while we're milking. This chap will spray on the cups as they go under the platform to keep them. And will spray on the platform to keep the platform clean. At the moment, the parlour is actually a little bit kind of dirtier than normal because, sorry girls, because a couple of weeks ago or last week I think it was, we had the water pump fail, so we couldn't wash down, so a lot of dirt stuck to the walls and things. Anybody who follows me on Instagram will recognise this cow, who is now known as Violet, after we had a vote what her name should be. I think I'm going to call her Slingshot. Empty cows marked with a green yellow tape because they're on once a day, so I'm not going to put the cups on them this evening, but they'll be milked only in the morning. This is just so that they put on a bit of weight because they're going to be culled. So we have lots of cows on there now. We have another group to milk. Some first calvers that are being kept separate. They're separate because in the morning we're going to dry them off. So we've separated them out so we have them ready to come in at the end tomorrow. When I get to the end of the milking, I hit this button and it won't let any cows that are still milking come around again. it'll stop, because obviously in the last rotation we want all the cows to get off because we're washing up and that. So the last of the cows are just coming on there now. So for washing up, we usually try to have two people. One person holds it up, the other person can put the cups back in the jar and basically do everything the opposite to what I did before milking. Because I'm milking, I'll be doing the hosing up and I'll just get a few shots of that, and then maybe at another milking I'll get a few shots of when I'm doing the other side of wash up, and I can put them all together in this video then. Here you can see on the screen here, we milked 342 cows came on. So that would make sense because we have already dried off some, so we don't have the full 400 anymore. So it's a couple of days on, it's the morning time as well, and it is very cold this morning. Lovely morning, but it's very cold. So I'm going to show you what we do with the other side of wash up with setting up the machine that the second person does. So now that all the cows are on, I can turn off the taps. So first of all, I'm just going to have a quick look around, make sure everybody's milked. So the last round are getting off now, and Cole's starting to wash up the clusters like you saw me do earlier on. I'm going to wait till she has a few washed before I start putting them in, because I don't want to get too close to where she's washing, otherwise I'm going to get hit with the hose. Now I'm going to start throwing some of the cups into the jetters. When all the cows are milked, I can purge the parlour, so push through the rest of the milk into the tank. Now I'm going to purge, dig it up to turn on the milk pumps to make sure all the milk is pumped out of the receiver jars and into the line, and then I hold it down to push air in that'll push the rest of the milk out of the line and into the tank. So I can see the bubbles coming in there now, so I can stop purging it. You can hear the compressor coming on there, that's the one it's using to push the air. Okay, so what we used to find when we started in this parlour was that even after purging, there's still maybe 25-30 litres of milk still in the line that gets lost, and over the course of the year, twice a day, you know, that is a lot of milk. So it could, I think Johan added up one time that it could be around 4 grand worth of milk over the course of the year that just gets dumped. So what we do is we purge the tank, or we purge the parlour, so we push through as much milk as we can, and then we put in a bit of water into the line through one of the clusters, a little bit, a bucket on either side by the 2 receiver jars, and then we purge again, and this water should push out the rest of the milk, so we get all the milk into the tank. That's the milking cows are going out there now. I still have the lame group are coming next, so I'm just going to switch the gate in the drafting system so that they'll just get held in this pen until we have the other cows gone out of the way, so they don't get mixed up. I have a little control box here. I can switch it to manual, and then I can manually control the gates. So all those lane cows will go out into this holding pen here now. So now just get the rest of the cups into the jetters. We got all the cups in the jetters, and she's parked in the wash position. So the pipes are back over here for connecting up to the wash. We'll do one more purge. So to put the wash going, we just flick it over into wash mode and press start. See the light is coming on here, means start the first cycle, so it'll rinse, then it'll do the main wash with the hot wash with detergent, and then it'll rinse again. So our wash tank is here. Water starting to flow into that now, and when it fills up, it'll turn on the machine and it can start washing. So I'll connect this back up to here to finish the wash line. That's it all set up for wash. I'm going to finish scraping the back. This hole is holding up here, and it'll run the wash itself automatically. All we have to do is, after the first rinse, change the filters. So that is the milking process here on our farm. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give the video a like and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one.